They'd been doing all the right things that hopefully you would like to do. So one way you can check out management is to see what they've actually done.
You shameless cloner. Want to track portfolios of famous value investors like Warren Buffett? See their buys and sells, current and historical holdings? Just visit valueinvesting.guru. It is valueinvesting.guru. Link in the description.
Okay. We had a couple good questions during the break, so whoever was asking, you want to help me out?
Sure. The question was about management. They didn't really talk about, what the managers were like. What was their track record over time?
Right, the managers of the companies.
How much stock they own in the company.
Well, I think that's an important point. I think, for instance, in NVR, management owned a huge stake in the company, and there was probably no need in the short area to talk about management, because from their actions you could tell that they were very shareholder oriented. They had bought in half the stock over the previous 5 years. They had moved to a model that was a high return on capital model with low risk. They'd been doing all the right things that hopefully you would like to do. So one way you can check out management is to see what they've actually done, and that's usually the best way. Actually, I have it's very valuable to meet with management also. It's just not one of the things that I'm particularly good at. I started doing this a long time ago, and I used to meet with managements, and I always used to come away saying, that guy seems smart, that guy seems smart, that guy seems smart. And so I wasn't very good at picking, who really was going to be doing a good job, but I was very good at picking based on what their track record was, what the numbers looked like, what they were doing, how they were acting, how they were incented with, how did their option situation or their amount of stock they owned compared with how much money they were getting paid each year. And that's probably the most important thing that I look at. What they're doing, of course, because you can still be incented the right way and be not that bright, okay? But if I think you're pretty bright and doing the right things and you're incented the right way, that's the types of things I was looking for. In NVR, it was sort of a non-issue. They were, had a huge stake. I think Sportsman Guide insiders had a decent-sized stake, and NIHD, the Nextel, was coming out of bankruptcy, so it was easy to see how they were incented. But there, it was just super cheap, so it wasn't quite as important because it was really a special situation. But it would be important to look at how management was incented anyway. But in that particular case, it wasn't particularly relevant. It was a good question.